Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Kitchery Street with your host AB and OV. And today, it's been a long time coming, right? A long time coming, this
Very,
one.
very long time.
Yeah.
It's been two
Uh,
weeks.
yep. Oh, we decided to do this every week. Now it's been 2 weeks. So how come it became 2 weeks,
Mm.
man? Give me a
Well,
update.
it's just in very, very simple terms. Actually, one word: life. It just gets in your way, right?
Life.
I mean,
More in a
it's
more
part and parcel of
professional,
life.
version. Our scheduling
Uh-huh.
conflicts, technological issues,
Scheduling, yeah,
conflicts. Your scheduling conflicts. Yeah,
scheduling conflicts, technology,
uh-huh,
infrastructure,
yeah. Infrastructure.
lots of things.
Yeah.
Lots of things.
So how has it been the past 2 weeks for you?
Hectic, actually, to be honest. Full-time job plus, living far away, doing
Oh,
things, and a bit hectic. Yeah. What about you?
full-time job again. Yeah, the same as you just said. Full-time job again.
Yeah.
But it was interesting though the past 2 weeks. A lot of different
Hmm.
news came about. What else? I'm excited, really excited for the new graphics card which is about to launch from GTX Nvidia.
Oh man, that's oh fuck. I saw the like screenshots and stuff like of like how the games are supposed to look,
Yeah,
and oh my god, for
the
half like less than half the cost of an RTX
I know, right?
2080.
I know, right?
Come
Like, and
on.
both of us been like on it. Like I believe like both of us been in our mind to build a
Mm.
PC from
Yep.
ages, from a lot of time. I felt like we just ended up in this position, the right time for the for
Yep.
utilizing this the right GTX cards. I can't wait to build my own PC now. It's gonna be really awesome.
Thankfully, I was gonna bite the bullet and buy a 1650 a GTX 1650 laptop. I was like,
Uh,
I really need one. I'm just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna bite the bullet, buy a
Jeez,
new laptop. Like, fuck
jeez,
it.
jeez.
And then thankfully the guilty person inside me, right, the one inside my brain is went like, come on, dude, you really want to spend all that money in like one thing? Come on, dude, come on, like you don't want to buy that, you don't deserve it, like not yet, come on, dude. I'm like, okay, fine, fuck it, you win, I don't want to buy it. Thankfully I didn't do that. Holy shit, that would have been the biggest mistake I've made.
Just to involve every one of our listeners,
Uh-huh.
by the way. So
Uh-huh.
both of us works with very shitty laptops outside of our work laptops. Our
Yep.
work laptops are like basically work bound. We don't do anything in our work laptops. It's basically
Yeah.
for work stuff. So the other laptops which we had, which we've been using for how many years now? Like about 7, 8 years now.
7 years, yeah, it's been 7 years for me now, exactly 7 years last month.
Okay, maybe for me it's like about 6.5, 7 years, I guess. Not to your scale. Like I think I'm months of what you have, I guess.
It's probably
Anyway,
a month off, but then I think we both used ours to like the
yeah,
maximum
yep,
extent it would run to.
yep. You have used it. I know like how much you have used it, and I've actually took my shitty ass laptop to a through a gaming session, like
Mm,
professional gaming session, I might say.
exactly. I
So
mean,
yeah,
your laptop's been in the pro scene. Mine's not
yeah,
been in the pro scene, but mine's
but
been dragged through the mud, I
but
would say.
yeah, literally has gone the both of us ran its race well enough. We've
Yeah.
used the
What?
last drop of whatever we can out of these laptops.
Yep. Yours is completely on the shitter, I believe,
Yeah.
but mine is still. It's running. It's running definitely, but it's on the last legs. Like the graphics card can't. It won't run, run good anymore. It's just like sputtering here
Yep.
and there.
Yep.
Like an
The same
old
thing goes for me. Like,
4T model.
yeah, mine is an old Dell laptop, and I think yours is an MSI one. If
Yep.
I'm, yeah. So
Which,
yeah,
by the way, not
really excited.
sponsored, but then MSI is the way to go. Come on, okay. If you're
Really,
listening, sponsor us.
really, yeah. Okay, okay, okay. Then while we're on it, Nvidia GTX graphics cards, the new 30 series graphics card is going to be a banging graphics card if you want to do any types of creative media out there. Like, if you work in media, any types of gaming scene, or you just want a good laptop, got to have
Yep.
something with Nvidia in it. There you go. Nvidia, sponsor us. Let's go.
Saying that, have you thought about what AMD is gonna do in reply? Like, do they have an answer?
They are going to come up with a press launch apparently by the end of this
Really?
month.
Ooh. But
So
is it a press launch in response to what Nvidia has shown, or did they
maybe,
already have something in mind?
maybe,
Because
maybe.
those are two different things. One is very rushed. If it's a response to what Nvidia is, then it's very rushed and they don't have a proper answer.
But the
But if it's
Ryzen,
something,
but the Ryzen which came out earlier was pretty good.
Mhm,
It's not as up to the mark of what GTS is now or what Nvidia
mhm,
is doing right now, but it was pretty
mhm.
good. Like it was better than 2080 Ti, if I believe what Ryzen
Yeah,
had, AMD had.
but Nvidia is gonna undercut whatever price they have at this point
Oof.
with the
Uh,
3060. I mean 3070. I think it's gonna
ooh.
be
I, 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 I
hard.
just can't wait. I just can't wait. That 3070 is like the price of it. It's just like, ugh.
Mm.
It's just like one plus pricing at this point.
Yeah, yeah, that's what you can say.
The the
Um,
graphics card killer by the graphics card giant.
oh man, just
I guess.
imagine playing Cyberpunk on that shit. Oh, it's gonna
Ooh.
be.
Just imagine playing every game on this shit.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyway,
but, hmm.
uh, I mean, like again, you want to, I keep cutting you off, man. Like you want to speak something else?
Not really. I mean, like I was kind of fishing for something to say. I was like thinking really hard, like how can I continue this? and then
Ah, okay.
and then you
All
you
right then.
started going things to me. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm saved.
All right. All right. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Something sad that happened over the last 2 weeks was, I think, uh, I mean, like the world lost Chadwick Boseman. I guess that's a
Yep.
very sad thing. Uh, it took me out of surprise, I believe. It completely took me out of surprise. Although, like, I've been seeing him out and about in the public, very weak
Hmm.
guy. So all that time, like, going through Twitter or your uh, Instagram, um, I keep seeing, like, people mocking him, like, how he has fallen from the King T'Challa to uh, looking like a homeless person. But you never know what
Hmm.
someone has been through, right? Like, very sad
That's true. Like
topic.
it completely caught me by surprise. Like I woke up and then I just like switched on my. I mean, just logged into Instagram and then I checked, and the
Of
first thing I
course.
saw was like Rip Chadwick Boseman. I'm like, what?
I
How? Like what happened? Like how did he die? Like he looked, for me at least, like I wasn't really following him on social media, but then from what I've seen, at least in the movies and stuff, he was like he looked very fucking healthy, right? And
Mhm.
then I read upon it and I was like, he's been battling, I think colon cancer, was it?
Yeah, yeah, colon cancer for about 2, 3 years.
4 4 years or something. That's
Oh
what I
yeah, yeah,
remember reading.
yeah, 4 years.
And I was like, no fucking way he was battling colon cancer for 4 years, because
He did
the way
Black
he acted
Panther.
in those movies,
Yeah,
exactly, he was doing such intensive roles, and he looked healthy. Like
yeah,
he was fitter than I ever possibly can be.
yeah.
He was so
Uh,
fit. He looked so good. And then I saw those posts on social media where like people he actually apparently like people bullied him so much that he removed some of those pictures from Instagram
I know.
of
Yeah,
him
yeah,
being all thin and stuff. And I was like, why the fuck would anyone bully him for having cancer? And then I realized he never made it public
yeah,
because
yeah,
no
yeah.
one knew. It was
Mhm.
surprise for everyone.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that was very fucking shitty. Like, how can people bully someone because they look
Th-
thin or they
They,
look weak? You
yeah. Like, why do you look fat? You look thin. Like, uh, your appearance shouldn't be judged properly. Like, it should be judged in a appropriate way, not like, yeah, you look at him like he looks like a homeless person. Like, who are you to tell that? Like, what is your choice on it? Like he can look however he wants, right?
Exactly. Like if you're concerned, then if it's coming from a place of concern, then the only right way would be like, hey, are you all right? You're looking a little thin these days. Is everything okay? Or
Uh,
if someone's like put on weight, like, hey, is everything all right? You look a bit on the other edge. Like, are you fine? Like that's the I think that's somewhat appropriate way to go about it. Like instead of like straight up going, I mean, either fat shaming the person or even like calling him a skinny fuck or like homeless, as you said. Like
okay.
that's no way of going about it. And I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, the internet's the mean place. Like the anonymity gives you that whole untouchable
power.
feeling, and people
Yeah,
will be
the power.
shit, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, but I wonder how those people feel. Like I wonder, like if you call those people out, whoever whoever bullying him now, and if you ask them, like face to face, like how do you feel about this now? Like, look, he was going through so much shit, and you give him even more shit on top of that. How do you feel now? I wonder what they have to say at that point, right? Because they have to be feeling really shitty, and rightfully so. Like, fuck those guys. But like,
yeah.
I really wish, like, someone can, like, pull someone out and ask them, like, how do you feel now? Like, huh? It's horrible.
Sadly, we don't live in such a world, I guess. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I can go through some of his highlights, I guess. The major highlight
Hmm.
to even exist is Black Panther. Like, he just inspired a whole different generation of people that that has given him that kind of power, that superhero mantle, I would say. And
Yep, definitely. A lot of kids.
uh, to be honest, like, I was not a big Black Panther fan, but when I
Hmm.
saw him in the movies, I did criticize him because of the vague, like a very vague face that he made in the movie, as in, like, he didn't have any proper expression or whatever
Hmm.
in as a Black Panther, because I felt like uh, Michael B. Jordan, he acted his ass off in that movie. So that movie, him,
Hmm.
he basically carried that movie. But as that character, the Black Panther character, I don't think anyone could ever uh, taken that whole vibe of it. If I'm right.
Right. Yeah, I think so too. Like he was, again. I think he was the first person to play Black Panther. I don't know
Yeah,
like who
yeah,
played him, and if it
yeah,
was
yeah.
an
He was
animated
a. I,
series.
I think I think he is the first person on live action. At least I believe, and he
Right.
inspired this whole different generation of superheroes. Not superheroes,
Right.
just like
I
people
mean,
in general. Uh,
yeah. I mean, definitely. Like it was a representation thing for all the black kids around the world, right? And then
yeah,
it's one of the big screen that inspired these people, these
yeah,
kids, and even people to a certain extent.
yeah.
And
Not
I
just
don't think
black
anyone can.
kids. I feel like it
Mhm.
just empowered everyone. Um,
Yeah,
and like
that's true.
you see white people, or you see Indians, you see
Hmm.
everyone in the world going Wakanda forever. It's like one of the
Yeah.
iconic thing. It became one of the most iconic thing. I would say, like, right up there with, like, I am Batman, or like it is up there right now.
It is up there, definitely. It is up there. It has become an icon. It has become a symbol, and I
Yeah.
think I remember like at one point seeing that he like someone come up to him during an interview or something and say Wakanda forever, and then he had that expression on his face. It was, I think he was just tired of like people coming up to him and just going
Yeah.
Wakanda forever instead of going like, hey, Chadwick Boseman, you're amazing.
Yeah.
I can definitely like feel with that. I don't think you can fault him for it
Yeah.
if he got tired of it, but it's definitely something great that he started. And it is a loss to everyone because
Yeah.
now, like when you look back on it and how he has been, he powered through his illness just to uh, for whatever reason, right? Like if because of his passion for movies that he was like
I think,
into
like,
it to give
yeah,
all
that
of
is
his work.
just like you put it, like, it's just this his passion to to entertain others. That was
Hmm.
commendable. Like, not commendable. Like, that is way more respectable, I believe. And
It's
I went
heroic,
through
I
some
would
of
say.
his other movies as well. Like, and I've seen a couple of other
Hmm.
movies. I think
Hmm.
21 Bridges is one of them, and the Five Bloods, the Five Bloods.
The Five Bloods or something like that. Yeah.
That's the recent movie. So both of them I watched. Really good acting. Like, in those movies, like, he acted his ass off. Just, I mean, like,
Hmm.
again, like, the Black Panther was a bit too much of a downer for me. the Civil War, the way he acted in Civil War was spectacular. Then Black Panther came on, it was iffy. Then the
Right.
Five Bloods, he acted his ass off in that. By the way, if you haven't seen it,
Uh,
I would recommend that.
All right, I'll go to watch it. Like that's what everyone's been talking about, right? Like all
Yeah,
these other movies and Black Panther. But then
uh-huh.
again, I feel like if you're going to watch a Marvel movie, you're not really going to watch it for the
Yeah,
action.
again, yeah.
Yeah.
That is why, like, I can't blame him for that. It's just, yeah, that's the
Exactly.
way
Yeah.
the movie was. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, from I
Uh,
think, yeah, that really shocked me. This news really shocked me. Like, I didn't
shocked me
expect it
too. Yeah.
anyway. Like,
I don't think
anyways,
anyone expected it.
yeah. I
It's
don't think
horrible.
anyone expected this to happen.
Mhm.
Anyways, moving on from such a topic, I think uh, I
Mhm.
don't think I don't know where to move from this topic because this has been
It's
a
a
very
it's
sad
a
topic. Yeah,
yeah. It's a rough topic. I mean,
yeah.
moving on
Anyways,
from it,
like
like
I think the next could be the Answer Us YouTube. Uh, the that hashtag
yes,
which is going about. What is your
moist
take on that?
critical.
Yeah.
So to be honest, I haven't watched the actual video where he talks about the animal abuse
Okay.
YouTube
Okay. Then
YouTubers,
I
but
can
then
just
from
give out a brief introduction for our listeners,
yeah,
if
definitely, yeah,
there is any. So there is a YouTuber called as Critical. Um, is it his name in YouTube or Penguin or something like that,
it's
right?
it's Penguin Zero or not moist critical,
Yeah. Okay.
Charlie,
Yeah. I mean, like you can just search up on YouTube Critical,
yeah,
and you will end up in one of his videos, I guess. From there, you can just
yep,
navigate yourself. I know, like,
hmm
it's a shitty way of just putting it out there, but hell, whatever. Yeah. So he was basically uh, the inventor, I would say, or the start of this hashtag Answer as YouTube. So where he
hmm
talks about how uh, the entire YouTube community is just fed up of, like, being flagged for unnecessary reason. Even if a snippet of a popular song is used, they'll get taken down. Even if a word called as fuck is used in their video, they get taken down for no reason. Even if
hmm
even if it is age restricted, uh, and things of that nature. And he himself made a video about something, about a political scenario, and the YouTube bots took that down as well. And when
hmm
all these was going on, there are other YouTubers where there are, like, clearly abusing animals, children's, and you know just abusing the power of YouTube, and then still be on YouTube doing their stuff, and people are still watching it and giving it a view, or giving that YouTuber a voice, which
hmm
he didn't like it, and personally I don't like it either. You
hmm
absolutely are not supposed to abuse anything, or you know any living thing. Like, you're not supposed to put harm through that. And
right.
yeah, that is basically the backstory of it. And he just wanted to make sure that, like, he has a voice, and the people has a voice against YouTube, so that they can
hmm
answer back. That is why he started the whole hashtag Answer Us YouTube. uh,
Right. So from my understanding of what I've seen, like what I've like not the video, but then what
uh
like I've seen
the
different
basic
people talk
trend.
about it, and yeah. So there was apparently a pretty, let's say, known channel which was abusing animals, and that was taken down, and then a lot more channels popped up, kind of like mimicking the first channel,
Hmm.
and YouTube never took action on those other channels. I think that's what like started off the whole thing,
Hmm.
and it's been allowed to be there. And then what happened after that was where Charlie himself, I mean, Moist Critical, Penguin Zero, I think it's better to just call him Critical at this point.
Yeah.
Critical's new video where he comments on a fake prank video, right?
Yeah.
Where I think Shrek and I mean Shrek and some other people like dressed up in different like costumes beat up
Yeah.
a Russian guy or something, and it was just like
Yeah.
it was a staged video. Everyone can see it was staged, and then YouTube just struck him down for that.
Yeah. Yep.
They flagged the video, removed it, penalized him, right? And then he called out on Twitter. He called out Markiplier for it, like not called out per se, but then he just went like, "Yo, if you're gonna, yo YouTube, if you're gonna strike me down for this, where is Markiplier's strike?" Because even he commented on the same thing, and it was on Markiplier's. I think you what was it? Try not to laugh challenge, was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Try to laugh challenge 2 apparently. So he said like Markiplier did this on uh, this thing on his video like a couple of years ago. Where's his strike, right? And then Markiplier saw that and he was like, "Yeah, YouTube, where is my strike? Like rightfully so, where is my strike?" And YouTube went like, "Fuck it, we'll strike you both."
Yeah.
And then Markiplier was surprised too, like because even I mean I think everyone's surprised. Like no one's gonna be like, why would YouTube do this? Why are they so stubborn? Like just accept your mistake, take the L, and move on, right?
Hmm.
But no, YouTube's like, nah, we will die on this hill. So they did that, and then Markiplier and Critical then again made a video. Because Critical actually made a video before YouTube even responded to him, right?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
made a video and said it like he's like, I'm 100% sure YouTube won't like YouTube will say that they will say that they will rewatch the video, they will reconsider it, but they won't
Take
take
any
back the
action.
strike. They won't
Yeah.
take any action against it. And he was 100% right. He was that sure, right?
Yeah.
And then Markiplier also made a video, and then I think a couple of hours later, YouTube, the team YouTube on Twitter went ahead and went like, you know, you're right, we were wrong, and then
Yeah.
reinstated both the videos, which
Yeah.
shows like there's a huge disconnect between the creators on YouTube and YouTube,
Itself.
the YouTube itself, and even within YouTube between the different teams. There's a huge disconnect apparently because they don't know what they know what the rules are, but the rules are too vague, so they don't
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
know what to do
I
about
believe like they have optimized it so much so that like even if you do something a bit out of the character, even if it's a
it.
prank or whatever, the YouTube
Hmm.
just takes down instantly. The bot just takes down instantly. So they have been optimizing it in that way, right? So I believe
Yeah,
that
but
is the
that's the
major
thing, right?
problem, and they don't want to get back to you, as in they don't want to spend their time to come back and put it back and all that stuff. So that is why they give a generic response. I feel like.
But that's the thing, right? Like you can't really. I don't know if you can blame YouTube for it. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. No, no. You can blame Beauty for it, as in like you can't make a sarcastical, or a prank thing on YouTube anymore. I know there's a lot of shitty pranks going on in YouTube and all the other media, but something which is genuinely funny, it's it's or right on the face should be considered like as like that, right? And yeah, you can blame YouTube
right.
for it, or you can at least have this system where something which can be flagged can be asked question, maybe
Mhm.
like why it is flagged so a real person can go through it and reinstate the videos.
Right, but then that's the thing, right? Like, so Markiplier was giving away some stats on Markiplier, I mean, on his video, which I saw, and he was like, every minute or so, 800 hours of new video is uploaded on YouTube.
Yeah,
So if you go by those stats, right,
imagine the
it's
amount of
humanly impossible for them to like monitor everything. And like, going by those stats, the number of videos being reported for different things, the number of videos that's coming under their attention
observation. Yeah,
for their observations and everything, uh, it's going to be a huge number. So they can't really realistically respond to everything.
I get it.
So
Yeah, yeah. I mean that also makes
it
sense.
it's a tough situation to be in, but at the same time, they should really listen to their the people making the content creators and people using the platform. I think more than anything, and they should like have a more transparent way of
Communication.
transparent mode of communication. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And then regarding those whole answers, like even over there, I don't think they have given a proper answer yet, have they? Like they haven't given any reason of why they haven't taken down those animal abuse channels and stuff like that, have they?
No, they haven't not given any answers regarding that, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So that's the
it's
thing.
a
Like,
very vague situation. Even now, I don't. Even after YouTube just uh, pander to the crowd because two huge YouTubers just made comments on it, and
Hmm.
that's about it. Like it's still going to be the same for everyone else, every other small creators out there. It's still going to be the same. Nothing's going to change anytime soon, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is true. That is
yeah.
true.
Okay, now switching to another topic before the main
Hmm.
event, I guess I'd say. Uh,
All right.
the yeah, do you know about the news? I briefly just went through this news. The um, something of a local news this is. So most of you,
Okay.
if you're from abroad, if you're outside India, you wouldn't really get this. So there's an
Hmm.
actress called as Ragini Dwivedi. Yeah, sorry for the technical difficulties. I don't know if you guys will even uh, really guess if there is any technical difficulty, but we cut off at this point while talking about
Uh,
one of our topics, starting
yeah.
our next topic, and it just cuts off. So we are back again, and going back to the topic at hand was Ragini
Right.
Dwivedi. Yeah. She's a actor from the South Indian movies and also Bollywood,
Hmm.
I guess so. So she was recently caught with the drug racket or associated with the mass sales of drugs.
Yep.
Uh, yeah. So where do we go about this?
So I'm just looking at it. So there was apparently a guy called Loom Pepper Samba from somewhere in Africa. Nice, good reporting, guys. Like really good reporting. I'm looking at this news article, right? It says he's from Africa. Africa's a fucking continent, bro. Give me the fucking country.
Wow, racist. Which source is this?
That's the funny part. Like the source was taken from the source is a Twitter screen cap on this news website.
Wow.
It's great. It's great.
Shame on you,
Great
Hindustan
journalism.
Times. Shame on you, Indian Express. Shame on you.
It is
Which
the Indian
are
Express, by the way.
okay? Shame on you, Indian Express. Sorry, Hindustan Times. Sponsor us. By the way, shame on you, Indian Express. You can't even.
Yeah,
You're like generalizing African people. What are you doing?
nice. And then I think the other one was someone called Niaz, who's from Kerala. Damn. All
Oh,
right.
all right. Have to be a Keralite somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was involved in promoting. So she was involved in promoting cricket leagues and stuff. And
Uh-huh.
now they're not saying what drugs she was carrying. They're not.
Yo, if they're not saying it's gonna be really hard. Trust me. It
It
ain't
could be
gonna
hard
be
drugs.
it ain't gonna be marijuana and weed. If they
Marijuana and
just
weed the same thing, bro.
huh? Yeah, I know.
Marijuana and weed
Like
the same thing.
I know, but I'm saying like
Mm.
it ain't gonna be that. It ain't gonna be that. Otherwise, they would have mentioned something like that. It's gonna be
It's gonna be like
seriously
cocaine and Molly, MDMA,
LSD.
acid, all that stuff.
Yeah, I believe so.
Ooh,
Which is very bad.
heroin maybe.
Yes, I'm strongly against it. Uh, I believe people who has
Ooh,
it has no life and should reconsider their choices in life. That's it.
maybe they're just addicts, man. They need help.
Huh?
Maybe they're just addicts. They need help.
Yeah, that's what I said. Reconsider their life choices.
It's not that easy. But anyways, I was looking at it, and apparently the police questioned film director Indrajit Lankesh, and he was like, "So this guy snitched basically. He went like, yo, I have information on film personalities frequently using drugs at parties.'
Wow.
That's what he apparently said,
What a,
and that's how her name came out.
what is Takeshi 69, huh? What a Takeshi 69.
Yeah, this guy straight up like how the biggest nerd in your class comes up and goes like, "Ma'am, there was supposed to be homework. You're supposed to check," and everyone just looks at him like, "This motherfucker."
You would just hate it, yeah? It's like one of my worst experiences in my school is that, you
It's
know,
fucking nerds, man. It's
I
really
was like,
good.
why would someone raise a kid like that? Like, why would you someone raise a kid where they had that intent in their heart that to fuck over the rest of the people? It's like I
I think
used to hate those people, you know.
I just realized something, like just now, right? Like as I was shitting on these nerds, I just
Uh-huh.
realized something. I think the reason why these kids do it is because they feel a bit left out from the rest of the gang, right? So the only people they can kind of relate to or like get some kind of like a positive reaction or even feel, as a part of
Validation.
something is, yeah, get some validation. That's the word. Some validation is from the teacher, right? So
Mm.
that's why they do this, because the rest of the class is shunning them because they're like, you can't relate to them because these kids are like, this one guy is just getting first rank all the time. He's studying hard because of, I mean,
But
yeah,
it's
his
not
parents taught him
always
like
no
that.
no no. That's the thing, bro. That's the thing.
Uh,
That's the thing that I noticed. It's not always the people who are excellent in their studies.
I
It's
mean, it's always the outcast, right? He's
yeah,
the
it's
outcast for a reason.
always the outcast. And I'm telling from an outcast. Like I wasn't that version.
Yeah, but see, there are two kinds of outcasts. Like one is the one whose teacher's pet, that's why he's an outcast. Like fuck that guy because he's a snitch. And there's the other outcast, you're just like,
That's the
who's
thing that I don't
troublemaker
understand. Like,
sort of
how
thing.
did they became the teacher's pet in the first place? Huh?
Because
How
the
did that happen?
teachers go like, you're a good student. You're getting, I mean, the teacher probably validated them, right? So they feel like they're a part of that and not like the rest of the gang,
Freaking
I guess.
snitches, ruining the culture of the world. You're the reason. You know what, snitches? You're the reason why Tekashi 69 exists. Everything wrong with the world. Everything wrong with the world is because of those people.
I mean, he is now enjoying his life, right? Like he's out making music,
Yeah.
getting Nicki Minaj in his videos to be like basically naked. I'm not complaining though. I like watching that shit. No
Anyways,
complaints from my
yeah.
side.
Speaking about snitching students, something
Hmm.
related to students. Hey, seamless transition again.
Hey, wow, there you go. That's the
There you
segue everyone's
go.
looking for.
Yes. Very, very exciting segment coming up, guys. This is nothing but the Indian education system. Wow. Very
Yep.
exciting topic.
Wow.
This is a truly wanted episode, this one right here.
Uh-huh.
So, about 2 months back, just to give a background again, I think I'm the background giver of the podcast officially. I mean, yeah, I
Or
don't mind.
I mean, anyone
Anyways,
who has more information can give the background. I think in this case, you are like way more. What do you
no, no,
call
no,
it?
I would
Educated.
say I have more information. I was just intrigued by this whole
Hmm.
news when it came out. Actually, it came out about
What
one and a half
intrigued you?
months ago, 1.5 month ago,
Why did it
and
intrigue you?
it's because of education. Like I would, while studying, I was always like, why am I studying this? Why am I mugging up all this? And all these questions I had to my teachers. So obviously, I would, as an Indian national, uh,
Hmm.
you have to be in loop with the education system because
Interesting. Hmm.
I don't know. I like to have some one kid sometime in the future, I guess, at least adopted one.
Hmm.
So
Ah, that's
not
why
a
it interests you.
not a hard thing like I need to have a kid, otherwise I'll die or something like that. Not nothing like that. It's just like you know, it's good to know. It's good
But
to know.
what about your legacy? What about your family line? Don't you want to continue it?
Yeah, exactly. I want to continue it. That's the
Oh,
main
come on,
point.
you're one of those people. Ugh,
Huh? Obviously,
you're one of.
I don't want a robot to control, be my uh, heir to my riches that I made. I need someone to utilize the same amount of money that I've made.
How
like
about you utilize it? Like, you just use it and then, I mean, you make the money,
yeah,
you use it on yourself.
but the thing is one day everything is gonna go away. Yeah, and you're not
Exactly.
going
So
to
just
take.
fucking
No,
finish
that's
it.
the thing. Like no, you're not going to take anything with you, is it?
Yeah, exactly. So you can either give like so you can do a lot of things with a lot of things with that money, right? You can use it on yourself to the max, and once you're like about to die or something, you can just go like, fuck it, charities, where are you? Where you at? Poor people in Africa, where you at? Poor people in India, where you at? And throw the money at their faces. You know.
See, there is a clear thing. Like you don't know
Hmm.
which charity it is going to or anything like that. People can misuse the money after you are gone,
I mean, you
unless
can
you
set up
have
your
like
own charity, literally. Nothing's stopping you from setting up your own charity under
again,
your own name.
again, again.
Uh,
I want
hmm.
my legacy to go on, bro. You
Bro,
know,
what like think about it. What greater way to continue your legacy than through thousands of people
no
who
one
you
is not
affect?
gonna, no one is gonna talk about me that way.
But
Fuck
you can
that.
go like I'll donate all this money to all these people on one condition that you put my statue up there, which was never taken down. I mean, which won't
Yeah.
be taken down
See,
ever.
see, that's the thing.
There
That's
you
the thing.
go.
I don't want that kind of an attention. At the same time, I want that kind of an attention. Like it's a
Ah, yeah, you want the attention, but you don't want it to look like you were craving for it, right?
yeah, exactly,
It should be
exactly.
given to you without you asking for it.
Yes, yes, yes. So that is why you have your legacy. So they can do something,
Right.
and you'll be like, in memory of his name. You get me? You get me? You
Yeah,
understand,
yeah,
right?
I understand your point. Yeah, yeah, I get your point. I mean, everyone to some extent wants that, right? Like they want attention, but they're like, nah, I don't want to ask for it. That's not how I want to
Yeah,
get it. It's
exactly,
like women
exactly.
going like,
We
You
are
can
all
get me
humans.
flowers."
At the end of the day, we are all humans, and
Yeah.
it's not like no one doesn't want attention. Everyone doesn't want attention. If you don't crave for attention, you're a fucking weirdo.
Mhm. See,
Anyway,
coming back to the topic, like if you want to make
yeah,
all that money, you need education first. So
yeah.
education,
Yeah. Education is a very important thing. Yeah,
right?
it's basically the pillar of a society, community, I
Hmm.
would say. So it is a pretty big, important thing, and it's been long overdue since we had a serious education reform, at least in India. Um,
Right.
I would say it'll extend up to the entire world. The
Hmm.
education reforms should be there, should be considered like at a really high priority. I would put the education reforms to be in right up there with your um, feed the poor, poverty, the fight against poverty, and everything else, because the
Hmm.
education literally can eradicate poverty, and we are not doing anything to be give better education to the people. you know so that is how
Right.
important I consider this topic as. So I obviously this piqued my interest, and there is a
Hmm.
lot of reforms which came about in the 1.5 months,
Hmm.
which is uh, we can just go through it, I guess, like the new draft policies, setting up some a research foundation. There is proper uh, draft policy, as in Right to Education Act of 2009,
Right.
to cover the.
This is a 5-year plan, right? Like it's a five
Yeah,
year plan.
it's a 5-year plan.
Right. Before we dive into like what it talks about, what do you think about where the Indian education stands when you compare
Right
it
now,
to, let's say, yeah, when you compare it to, let's say, the British education system or even the US education system?
uh, education system wise, uh, I would say our education system, from what we
Mhm.
studied, as in like we went through something like this, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it's higher. I'd say it's way higher than uh, a lot of people give credit for.
Hmm.
Um,
But do you think it's higher than, like, it's better than the US education system or even the British curriculum, whatever they
uh,
follow?
that's the thing. Like both of those, like let's say um, the outside, the abroad education systems, yeah,
Hmm.
those are all good, and those are all more like practical minded approach to it,
Hmm.
and we have more
Hmm.
theoretical knowledge and more in-depth knowledge topics, like our education system teaches a lot of a certain topic a lot, and we know about that topic, like in and out of it, when the
Hmm.
other countries don't know about in and out of that particular topic. I'd say
But
that is
don't
the
you
difference,
think
basically.
that's the difference? All right. So, okay. I don't think there's like a way to look at it as a better or worse. I think both
Mhm.
should be combined, maybe in a sense.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing.
You need a
Like
middle ground.
now, now from this, what do you call it? Like this reform, it's like
Hmm.
it's leading towards the abroad reforms, as in like what
The
they are.
practicality of it, right?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, the more practicality of it, like people can move about, like there can be breaks between their education system, and it won't affect their career or anything like that.
Yep. I think that's one
Reduce
great thing I saw.
reduced load on education system,
Hmm.
uh, promote the common people in the country. uh, so that is basically the points which the at least like the policymakers have pointed out. So
Hmm.
that's the
Yep.
thing, like, so do you want to go by point, like, do
We
you
can
want
go
to
point
just,
by point.
okay, um all right, let's go point by point then. First of all,
Right.
the language policy which the reform is talking about. So the policy
Hmm.
states that there should be a minimum of the medium of instruction should be like, um, oh, okay. So the medium of education should be in Hindi, in English,
Hmm.
and their home mother tongue, basically,
Right.
and which is well and good. And they want to
Hmm.
integrate one other language as well to it. Basically, it's just like your international schools where they teach you French, German, and all that stuff, um, which is pretty good. But I feel like it's adding more stress to this the whole uh, system, I would say. Like, instead of, like, from coming from a person who has studied in their mother tongue and in
Hmm.
English, I'd rather take English than studying in my mother tongue and everything else, because I was poor at it. Poor at Hindi, poor at my mother tongue, poor at everything,
Hmm.
every other language except for English for me, basically. And even that, I'm not mastered it yet. So you can clearly see where I come from of this education policy. And I feel like this education policy, yeah,
Hmm.
um, it just inculcates, like, they are forcing people to rely on particular languages, I would say. uh, NEP 2020, what it's focusing upon, yeah.
Hmm.
So if, let's say, the education policy states that, like, you can study up till your sixth grade or seventh grade in your mother tongue, yeah, all well and good. But once you pass out from that place and you go to you want a better education system, you want to have a place in a higher university or abroad university, you're not going to be
Hmm.
taught over there in your mother tongue. You're going to be taught over there in English, and clearly
Right.
that will bring your whole thing down. Like, you need to have a certain English communication system from the start. I feel like, that is where I lacked, as in growing up. Um, I was, like, thrown to the wolves, I would say. Like, at one grade, I was just like, yeah, you start studying English and let's see how you do. And it worked for a lot of people, not for me. It took a
Hmm.
lot of time for me to adjust to it. And then it was like, now you're only able to allowed to talk English and nothing else in your life. Like, and that became the
Right.
hardcore rule. And even that extended to my home. So right now, um, yeah, of course, I've increased in my English knowledge, but
Hmm.
everything else, compared when I compare it to my mother tongue or Hindi, or, it well and good, right? My All my other
Yeah.
language is very lacking when it comes to English.
But I think I have a different perspective on that.
Yeah.
So I think, okay, so from what I understand, they're going to start off with their mother tongue, Hindi and English, right?
Hmm.
From a
Yeah.
young age. It's
Yeah.
not like they're going to introduce it in different stages, are
No,
they?
no, no. So English, that's the thing. Like, English will be taught after their uh, they're basically the brain development form stage, I would say. Like till their class 5, class 6, sixth
Uh-huh.
grade, English is not even taught.
Right.
Only the
So
home language or the mother tongue. So if the kid wants to be taught in mother tongue, they will
mhm,
only teach that kid in their mother tongue, and they won't force English on them. But I feel like what I'm saying is like, there should be a balance
there
between the
should
two,
be, yeah.
in the sense like, you shouldn't lock out your mother tongue from after teaching after you're being taught English, and you're not supposed to restrict a person from studying English. You feel me?
Yeah, I agree with you. Like mostly, I guess. I think
Mhm.
for me, it would be. I think it's redundant when you teach both English and Hindi at the same time, along with your mother tongue.
Hmm. Yeah,
Don't you think?
yeah,
Don't you
yeah.
think it's better?
I would also do the same thing, as in like go with your mother tongue and English. It's like one
Exactly.
global medium and one local medium. I would say that is
Right.
the best balance, but that
Hmm.
is not what's going to happen over here. They're going to stress on teaching you Hindi. They are going to stress on teaching you the local language throughout your initial stage of your life, and then
Hmm.
suddenly switch on to English, and you're not going to be talking anything else after that. So that actually restricts a lot of people, especially people like me who can't pick up on language that quickly.
Right. Um, that's the thing, right? Like, if you're only gonna speak English in school,
Yeah.
um, actually, I don't know how it's gonna play out because for me, I've had a different experience, right? So for my first 2 years, I only studied Hindi. I only
Mhm.
knew Hindi, right?
Uh-huh.
And then first grade onwards, I was forced to study in English.
Uh-huh.
So I was thrown straight from Hindi to English, and I studied English. And since I was speaking in school in English all the time,
Hmm.
it worked out for me, right?
Yeah.
But at home, I was speaking in Hindi, so it worked out for me there because I learned Hindi, and my second language was Hindi in school.
Hmm.
And in my school, I wasn't given a choice for a third language, right? I was two languages: English, the base language of communication, and a second language that's either Hindi. I think it was Hindi, Malayalam, French, and
Okay.
Urdu.
All right.
So those were the four options for me as second language. So obviously I took Hindi because it's better to learn Hindi than French maybe because I had no
Uh-huh.
idea about French. I can't practice French either. So
Hmm.
language is good. You're good to go and learn a language as long as you're practicing it, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So
So you
if
won't be,
let's say
if your friends group is like completely talking in English, you won't talk in any other language, is it?
exactly, so that's where the whole redundancy in the Hindi comes in, right? If
Yeah.
you're going to talk in English,
Hmm.
right, you're practicing English, you're going to learn English well and good. You're going to talk in your mother tongue. In that state, it makes sense because you will talk in your mother tongue. Let's take for example, you're in Kerala, right? You're studying in Kerala. You're going to talk in Malayalam all the time, right? Because at home you go, you're going to talk in Malayalam. You're traveling, you're going to talk in Malayalam. Go out on the streets, you're going to talk in Malayalam. So it makes sense for you to go to school, study in English and only English, right? You're going to practice that language there.
Uh-huh.
English is being practiced, you're going to learn English. And outside, at home, you're going to practice Malayalam because you're going to talk in Malayalam and talk to other people in Malayalam. So you're going to practice Malayalam, and that'll be beneficial for you too, right?
Okay.
You're
Yeah.
practicing it, you're going to learn it. But when you're forcing the student to learn Hindi in a state where Hindi is not widely spoken,
Yeah.
how are they going to understand it? How are they going to practice it? It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
Yep. 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 Especially this happened in Tamil Nadu,
Hmm.
where they are like, forcing the whole state into learning Hindi, and it's like, the state itself is like, just resisting the every being of Hindi over there. It's like
Right.
all the billboards and everything like that, whichever has Hindi, it's been taken down. So you're
Hmm.
creating a divide over there just by a
Right.
language. Very, very, how do I say, very harmless thing. You're just creating a divide, I would
It,
say.
it's somewhat of an irony, don't you think? Like language is supposed to,
Bring
you
together
know,
people. Yeah.
yes, it's supposed to transcend barriers, like
Yep.
like make bridges.
Hmm.
But over here, it's literally destroying those
Yeah.
bridges, and people are like, fuck you.
Yeah. Another thing is school system.
Hmm.
So earlier, the Indian education system, the school system was like, first 10 years from first to 10th, 10th grade, and you'll have your 11th grade and your 12th grade all together
Hmm.
combined into one school. Or it can be like, you can complete your 10th grade and move to a different school for your last two grades. So
Right.
now that has been split into 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4.
I didn't quite get it. Like,
So,
what is this 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4?
so basically, they want you to start your education by your age 3.
Okay.
So your preschool is also being considered into this education system.
So when you say preschool, this is the Montessori,
Yeah, yeah.
what you would call it
Your
now.
kindergarten levels. So
But
your
isn't kindergarten different to Montessori, or is it the same thing?
isn't it the same thing? I always thought it was the same thing.
No, I don't think it was the same thing. So if I calculate correctly,
Uh-huh.
I started school, let's say kindergarten one, when I was 3 years old. 91, I mean 95, 97, 8, 9. No, when I was 4 years old, actually, I think. I think four would be the right
Yeah,
answer.
that is the average of when everyone in our age started at 4 years old. So
Right. So if you're saying three, then Montessori, it'll be preschool. That's Montessori, right? Which will be different.
okay, I've no clue. Anyways,
Okay.
it's just
Yeah.
basically wanting. Okay, what is your thought about that? Because like I clearly have a negative point of view. If you have a positive spin, go ahead.
So from my understanding, it's like you will have less number of examinations, one at the end of the first 5 years, then one at the end of the next 3 years, then one in
Yeah.
10 and 10th, and then 11, and then 12th, right?
Yep.
So four examinations in total,
Mm-hmm. Four big ones. Yep.
four big ones. I think I'm not entirely sure how that would play out, but
See,
I
this is
think
my
depending
gripe
on,
about the whole situation.
yeah,
You're asking a third-year-old, a 3-year-old, to attend a school system, as in like in a very systematic formula. How is that ever going to happen? Because the world average, if you take, is like when people are going to school is at the age of 6. So
is it?
yeah, in Denmark, France, Germany, Ireland, Norway, like Scotland, Netherlands, everywhere people go to school at the age of 6. That's the average age of going to school, not
I
at
I
3.
didn't know that actually.
Yeah, not at 3. So while integrating this format, I I know it's all well and good. Like you just have to write 4 big exams and you'll be done with your schooling days. Which
Hmm.
again, it's like um, that's not how it's going to play out. Let's be honest. That is not how it's going to play out. And
I
there's going to be a big drop off rates when this happens, I believe.
I think we have to wait and watch because since they're including preschooling into it, so it
Hmm.
makes sense it'll be at three because by the age of three, like most parents actually put their kids into nurseries and shit, right? Like
Yeah,
so
that's
that's
the
where
thing.
those
Like
kids
why?
go.
Why? It's 3 years old,
Uh,
man.
I think it makes sense, right? Like let's look at it from a very urban perspective, right? Or at least in my case. So
No, no. In my case
growing up
as
in the
well. Like,
city,
yeah, I
mhm.
I was put in the school at the age of 2.5, I guess. So I
Right?
did the
So
extra.
it makes sense. It's like a daycare thing, right?
Yeah,
But you're learning in this daycare. So that's basically it. At least from an urban perspective, that's what it is. From I don't
yeah.
know from a
But
rural perspective, also it's more or less the same thing,
see,
but
that's the thing. Like,
I don't know how to play out.
during that early age of your life, yeah. This is
Hmm.
how I take it. Like, during the early age of life, let's take it, any humans or any animals, let's say, during that early stage of your life, you need that parental influence. No matter like who you are, you just need that. As in, like, I know, like, it's you're like, you can't grasp all the knowledge or whatever, and it's like,
Hmm.
throughout the life you grasp the knowledge. But I feel like, it's not like, I'm saying like, you won't turn out all right or anything. I'm just saying it'll help particular individual a lot better if they're more home trained, I would say.
I understand your perspective. I understand your point, right? Like it makes sense.
Hmm.
But that parental influence can always be had after school too. Because what my point is, if you're looking at it from an urban setting, right? If it's a household where both the parents are working, then the
Hmm.
kid's left alone in the house anyways. So might as well put him into daycare, right? And if it counts towards school, fine, they'll learn something. But once they come back home and the parents are back home, then it's the parents' duty to look after the kid and give them the parental care, right? But
Yeah.
till then, if their time is being spent more, let's say, effectively in a daycare, which is counted towards school, I think it's fine.
Hmm.
I personally don't see much of wrong with it. But when you bring up the world average of people going to school at when they're starting school when they're 6, it
Yeah.
kind of makes me question the whole point of why we are starting 3 years earlier.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's okay because since we all started like by the age of 4, and
Yeah,
some
that's the thing.
some
Like,
people say
see,
3
when
even,
we are reforming the education systems, right? When we are trying to
right?
reform it, we are trying to, we want to make it better. So it's not about like how we went through. Like, they should go through the same thing. I mean, like,
No, but
there is there is certainly, like, you can take influence from whatever we went through.
Mhm,
In case of, like, their core system and whatever. So apparently this core system in this is going to be much easier, which I have a
mhm,
gripe with, considering that's, like, we went through a lot of shit. And I also
mhm,
give my credits to going through all that shit. As in, I'm proud to say, like, I'm pretty sure even you can say, like, not a lot. If we don't maybe knowing not a lot of things, but we do know
mhm.
things. As in, we can be proud of that fact. As in, like, we do know things better than most other people in this world.
Yeah, we do know things, but at the same
Yeah.
time, I don't think there was any particular harm done to our generation because we started a bit early, right?
No, no,
I don't see
that's the
that
thing. Like,
effect. So that's why I'm like, okay.
we didn't have a uh, should I say, like, we didn't have any other choice but this. So we only had this thing to go ahead with it. So
Hmm.
we didn't have any other um, system or any other lighter topics to study upon. Like, we only had one direction. So that's it. Like, we knew that and we took that. We completed it, and there was no big complaints. I mean, like, there were complaints, like, why the hell are we studying
Right.
and all that stuff. It was there, but
Yeah.
right now looking back into it, it's like, yeah, uh, I don't feel that is a um big gripe.
I don't think when they say easier, it probably doesn't really mean that uh, what you call it, the subject matter becomes easier. Maybe it when they say it's easier, it's probably like you're eased into things differently, right? You're like taught everything at the right age. Maybe you're like taught the topics that are more relevant to you at that age, or even how you're introduced to them, or the gravity of the topics, or how in depth you go. Maybe that's eased upon, right? So
Mm.
students have like a wider variety of knowledge, and they do not feel like it's a burden to study all of it. Because I definitely felt like it was a burden studying during that age. It wasn't fun to me, right?
Hmm.
But if you make it, let's not say fun, if you make it generally interesting, at least in the least, right?
See, that
Then
doesn't depend upon, like, whatever we studied. Yeah, it could have been fun, as in
mhm,
it all whatever we studied could have been fun. But the thing is, even if this is implemented, even if they're saying lighter workloads or whatever, it doesn't
mhm.
mean that, like, you're going to get that, in the sense, like, the teachers, the school system, everything has to change. Otherwise there is no point of introducing all this stuff.
That's the
So
thing. Everything is changing because when I was going through it, even the teaching curriculum, like the teachers and everything, right? They're planning on changing them too. They're planning on like tutoring the teachers, mentorship, and all those programs are coming into play too. Mentorships, as in like teachers who have passed out, teachers who they think are great, will mentor a newer generation of teachers to teach better. So they are doing a whole reform, which will take another 10, 20 years. So this 5-year plan is there, but there's also another 5 years after that, and another 5 years after that that they've planned for. That's why I
yeah,
think this education reform is like huge, right? It's massive. It's an overhaul, but it's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah.
and a lot of corrections have to be done.
Yeah.
It can't. I don't think they'll get it right in the first try itself. It's impossible. I think it's a huge task, but it is
Yeah.
a great task
This is
nonetheless.
yeah. That's a good point. Another thing
Hmm.
is what I came across is um, let me see, 1 second. Yeah, the one system or the one central education system. What's your thoughts on that?
Hmm. I think that makes sense if it's all centralized. Everyone's studying the same. Everyone's getting the same standard of education, the same. Uh, everyone's on par with each other, right? No one's getting an unfair advantage. But at the
Aha!
same time,
Here comes my critical thinking or the negative thinking or whatever you can call it.
yeah, but at the same time, you know,
Propaganda.
exactly,
Exactly.
exactly. That's what I was coming at. But at the same time, if the core product itself is kind of questionable, then
Uh-huh.
everyone's selling questionable shit, right?
What?
So
What?
you can't have a central body which goes like, we will teach Ramayana and Mahabharata in schools and all that stuff. You can't have that. You can't have a central body going like, we'll teach because as far
No,
as I
no,
can
I'm not.
remember,
See, I'm
some,
not saying like you should teach like you shouldn't teach that and all that stuff. Like it's the more
Mhm.
information you know about everything, the better it is for humankind. I would say.
Right,
Uh,
but then where I'm drawing my example from is where in some schools they were taught these things as facts and as science, which it isn't. It's mythology.
hmm, you're gonna
So
piss
that's
off a
where my issue
lot of
comes in.
people now.
Fuck them, dude.
Yeah.
But
Um.
yeah.
So yeah. What I said is like not. I wouldn't say like more of a religious stance. I'm just saying like
Mhm.
the propaganda can be related to the political stances, like which our government is at play. Government is at play. They'll say like well, let's change this to whatever agenda which we follow, so that the young generation will follow what we are doing right now.
That's always been the case, though. Even with the old system and the new system, it's always been the case.
No,
It is a
the old
propaganda.
system.
The
No,
history books.
no, old system had different variations. As in, like you have the CBSEs, you have your ICIC, you have your international systems. So there were like multiple different systems to choose from, or at least like you could go to if you were fortunate enough. I would say.
Hmm.
You have your state system. Yeah, that is the one thing that I was saying. Like, so there was like state systems instead of a central body. So right now
Hmm.
making merging it all together into a one central body, yeah, so that one state's maybe teaching you something related to that state, as in let's say
Right.
the state of Maharashtra or a state of
Hmm.
Gujarat, they'll be teaching the history of that state, or
Hmm.
relating to the stories relating to that, which will be um I would say um what do you say, like
Lost,
huh?
more
Yeah,
or
it's
less.
yeah, it'll be more useful for them, I would say. No, I wouldn't say
I think.
fluff. I would just say like it'll be, see, if you're from, let's say if you're from Maharashtra, yeah, you would like to know
Hmm.
more about the history of like what happened, or like how the whole state is formed and everything like that, right? I'm not sure like if you're a fanatic of like history or whatever, but I am, or at least like when I
Hmm.
where I come from, I would like to know like I think you already know the straight of me. Like I would like to know
Hmm.
how things became, rather
Right.
than like how it is right now. Like
Hmm.
yeah, so yeah, I want to know more stories, like more things around it and everything like else. I don't want to know what happened in Jammu and Kashmir. Like it's none of my concern at that point. I mean like it's a knowledge. Like you can certainly know about it, but it's not a pressing matter in my mind. You get it? So when there were state systems, Karnataka state boards, your um, Maharashtra state boards, your Andhra Pradesh state boards, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, every state boards, they had their own state uh, syllabus, which was followed and which was considered between interstate. As in, one state,
Mm-hmm.
if you studied from that state, it was relevant in the other state as well. It wasn't like scrapped, like oh, because you study from Karnataka, you're not allowed to practice in Maharashtra. It was not that case. It was going pretty well. The state system was working fine. It was just that you needed more funding to the state system to match with your CBSE or your ICIC system, so that the level of
Mm-hmm.
education can come up to that level. Instead, what they did right now is just merge together everything, uh, and just
Right.
took out the entire individuality of the the whole education system. So earlier there was a clear difference of what is being taught, as in let's say in case of both of us, yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
studied abroad, I studied in India. We studied
Right.
both, we both studied the same thing, but different things at the same time. Like
Wait,
our
did you have more of your own state's knowledge? Like, did you have more of that in your curriculum?
Yeah, yeah, I did have that.
Right, but then you still did study CBSE, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like even though there were CBSE syllabus being applied, which is
Mm-hmm.
sort of a central education system, there
Mm-hmm.
were the what do you call uh,
The state elements to it.
the state elements to it. But I feel like what this is gonna bring, and
Mm-hmm.
major reason of that CBSE being state influential was because of the state syllabuses, or your ICSE syllabuses, which takes inspiration from that particular state. So that particular CBSE in that particular state might have been like, okay, we want to compete in that front as well, and
Mm-hmm.
let's teach the students in not to deep knowledge, but a element of that. Let's apply that to in our syllabus as well, and
I
it
think
was
there's
properly fine with it.
right, but then I think in the new system, right, like even though it's centralized, there
Uh-huh.
is a way of implementing or integrating the state knowledge or a particular state's history and stuff into this curriculum. You just have to make it an additional subject, which doesn't really carry marks. So if you're interested in it, you know, sure,
Well
it's
and good.
good for you. You can pick it up. It's you won't get any additional marks, maybe as a like how physical education is there on your report card, right? And is there like as a separate entity of its own, or even arts. It's at least in my report card, it was like a separate entity of its own. It really didn't, give much to my overall grade, but it was there.
Yeah, yeah.
So it could be something like that. You can obviously integrate it because if a student's interested, genuinely interested in it, those classes can be every year they can take a head count, like how many students are interested in taking this class this year, right? And they can have that class that year.
No, see, that's the
If they
thing.
don't have,
That's again, I disagree on that, is because uh,
Mhm.
everyone needs a kind of a knowledge. As in, that is what I pride myself of being an Indian, or like the
But that's
education
that's why you
system
have the whole.
that I was studying under, because I would say if you check the education systems in other countries or whatever, they
Mhm.
wouldn't be knowing about their history that much, and that shows. As
But
in, clearly people from abroad clearly knows about what happened in their country than the people themselves.
that's where I think I differ with you because I feel like history is a subject which you should seek out and learn
No, 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 no.
once you know what
See,
you're.
unless see, this is the common phrase again going about,
Mhm.
going like the common phrase which goes about, if you don't know the history, you're tend to repeat it. Like
Right.
so, it is applicable to everyone. As in history, you should learn history. As in, it's not a the thing that you should be passionate about, but you should be knowing about what happened. We should be
That's
vigilant
why you
about
have the
what
general
happened.
history, right? That's why
Huh?
you have the general history with the important events around in and around the world and your country. If you're gonna go for state history and stuff like that, I
No, that is
think
again
that's
like, if
more
you're living
or
in that state, if you're living in that particular region, you should be uh, at least be vigilant about what happened in the past, right? Or why that state or why that particular place is in the way it is like that.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think world history and maybe your history of your own country in a more general sense, like for everyone to know, is important, right? But if
Hmm.
it's state history, then it's optional. It's depending on your interest for it. There's always libraries and stuff, right? It's an option open to everyone. I
See,
don't think I don't think you can
that's the thing.
force.
Like, uh,
Hmm,
for me, I would. That is where I differ with you, I guess. Like,
yeah.
I feel like this in history or whatever, which I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure you've been taught as well about certain things, which
Yes. So
which
for
you didn't like
me,
at that time, but now
right.
it might be like, okay, I know about this.
So for me, it doesn't make a difference, right? Like, so here's my perspective or my take on it is coming from this place. So I studied abroad. I did study CBSE itself, but I studied abroad. So what
Hmm.
happened was I was the that country's history was forced down upon me. All
Hmm.
right,
Hmm.
I don't remember jack shit because I wasn't interested in it.
Okay.
All right,
All right.
I remember things pertaining to general international history. All right,
Hmm.
I remember things pertaining to general Indian history. All right,
Hmm.
those things they interested me. I was That's why I know them. All right, I remember some stuff here and there. I know a couple of
So
things
you're
here
telling
and
me
there.
like, no,
Um,
you don't know anything about where you study, or you don't remember anything, as in anything.
I know the year the country was formed. All right,
That's it.
I know the year the country was formed.
Oh
I
God.
know the name of the founding father because he was the president for I think 30 years or whatever. I don't fucking know. And that's about it because I wasn't really interested in that place. Like, I was just living there, right?
No,
The
but
same
like
case. I have.
at this point,
Mhm,
like, when someone is trying to have a conversation with you,
mhm,
uh, let's say random stuff about your place, and you'd
right.
be like, oh yeah, I did recognize that from somewhere, or you do kind of relate to it, right?
Not really. I relate to that place because I've lived there, so I know a lot of her from the streets. Okay, but not because I learned the history of that place. And and to be honest, the state I am from,
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea about the history of the state. All right,
Oh.
not a single fucking clue, and it doesn't affect me in any way. At least for now, it doesn't really affect me. It hasn't affected me in any way for now, right?
See, I'm not
I
saying
don't
it'll affect the
yeah.
anywhere or anything. I'm just saying,
Mhm,
in the sense of people being educated, as in
mhm,
more people having more knowledge. The ancient philosophers or whatever, yeah, they
right.
knew about their stuff, and they knew about where their surrounding were, and they knew about the world itself. As in, you take
But
Greece for instance, the uh,
that
the, the great Alexander,
uh-huh,
the great museum or the great library which was created. Like,
uh-huh.
they actively went out to collect information, to collect
But
knowledge.
that's again that's a completely different time with
No, but
millions of pages of less knowledge. Like the knowledge then available
uh,
to them and the knowledge now available to us is the
no, but
difference
I
is
see.
vast.
I know. But you can't actually tell that because those people were kind of really, really smart. If you
No,
think,
no, no.
like, the
I'm not saying they're stupid or anything, right? I'm
uh
not saying that. I'm
no,
saying the
the
historical
knowledge
knowledge that they
available.
had.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the data they had and the data
Uh-huh.
we have, it's completely different. It's on a different league. All right.
Yeah, I know it is
They,
different, but the
yeah,
thing is, like, what if we use their kind of um uh drive to strive out for knowledge?
not everyone has that, and you can't force it down someone's throat because then they start hating it. That's why it should be an optional thing. Because come on, as a kid, right? You
Mhm.
have to give them time to be kids too. You can't just force down 15 subjects down their throats. It's not gonna work.
No, I'm not saying like, force down 15 subjects or whatever,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
and I feel like the homeworks and everything, yeah, it should be
Hmm.
optional homeworks. It shouldn't be forced down homeworks or anything like that. Like, for your betterment, for Uh, to be honest though, like the force down homeworks actually works, because that is how I got good at the numbers or whatnot. Like
I
it is because like it was forced down on me, and I
I don't think it works.
like, huh?
I don't think it works. It never works. I mean, it works for like a small number of students, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I don't think it works for everyone. For the majority, at least, it doesn't work because you can easily just copy it off of someone else. It doesn't take much time.
Yeah,
You can. It'll take you
that's that.
5 minutes to
I'd
copy the
give
whole
you
thing,
that. I'd give you that. Yep.
right?
Anyways, yeah, I think we are going
Mm.
overboard this time for the for from the
We haven't
time
even touched
perspective.
like half the topic.
Yeah, exactly. I think we'll
Yeah.
continue. Like we'll just clean up. I guess the other thing is the entrance exam for entering into your uh
Mhm.
post grad or your graduation studies or whatever. What are your thoughts on
Right.
that? Your entrance exams?
Is it entrance exam for every type of graduation? You have to do like give an
No, no, no.
exam.
Yeah, to get into a college, you need to have that one particular exam.
Why are they conducting 12th board exams then?
Yeah, that is what like it is a very national
It's
testing
counterintuitive.
agency. Huh?
It's counterintuitive.
No, no, no. I think what they're trying to put is like have that exam and eliminate the 12th exam, I guess.
No, but they said that the 10th and the 12th exam will go as usual, right? That's what I'm reading.
Oh, really? Even after
Yeah.
5 years?
Yeah, so it's like they're gonna the 12th and the 12th exam will still go on, but it'll take a more holistic approach. Now, I don't know what holistic approach means
I
because
think
it's kind
the
of like a
holistic
vague term.
approach they are trying to bring about is like one centralized test to get into the colleges, which I think is pretty shitty. As in a person with low grades
Mm.
can get into a college, should be able to get in a college if he's trying to get into a college or interested in getting into a college.
Right.
Because I feel like the basic education which we any person requires is still their graduation. I know there are outliers, but as
So
a
did they tell like what how much you should get to get into a college? You should just pass it, right? So the
I
passing grade
think
will be what 30%, 33%.
I don't know about that.
So if
Not,
it's like that, then if it's centralized testing, right? So the
uh-huh.
only good that centralized testing does is for scholarships and different levels of scholarships. All right. So if you get
Yeah.
like 90 above, scholarship. If you don't get 90 above, pay the full price, right?
Hmm.
But everyone should get at least 30% to pass and then get into a college. Makes sense because you need to pass the
Yeah,
12th grade
but
exams
I
too.
feel like this test, right, the holistic test or whatever they're conducting, it'll
Hmm.
turn into a more competitive test. I'm feeling that way from it. I'm getting the vibe from it, and
I mean, we're in
it'll
India.
end up, yeah, especially in India, and it end up being like your what do you call the entrance
JEE,
exam? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It'll
IIT,
end up being
all that stuff.
something like that where you need a special coaching session for that, and the people with low income can't afford that, and
Hmm.
they'll miss out on getting into a college.
I think
Your
it's
your CA exams and everything like that, right? Now
right.
it's like you need at least 3 or 4 different coaching institute just to pass, which is I think is shitty. You're not supposed to like take it to the next level when even
Mm.
when you're not even going to use that much of knowledge to for your work anyways.
I think like discussing about this is fine, but then what they have come out and said is a bit too vague to actually
Yeah,
form any
exactly.
opinion
It's
on.
it's yeah, it's
So
I feel like they're telling a lot of vague things. It's not
yeah,
pinpointed.
that's one issue with my the whole thing after I read through it, right? Like there's that
Uh-huh.
one issue. Like they've given so many things, but there aren't like clear deadlines and clear goals set over here.
Yeah.
They're
The
like, we
one
want to do this,
the
we
one
want to
thing
do
that
that,
I'm
we want to do this.
yeah, sorry. The
Yeah.
one thing that I am happy about is the credit system where you can go to the
Hmm.
college
Yes.
and score your bank your marks and later come back
Online.
and study. Yeah,
Yep.
that is a good
Yep. Yep.
system.
Yep.
I feel like I don't know
That is
if there's
definitely
any
great.
bad way to go about it, or
I
is
think
there
that's definitely a great thing.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with it either. And also the fact that if you finish 2 years, you get a diploma. If you finish 3 years, you get a graduate. If you finish 4 years, you get another this thing.
Yeah.
That's also great. Like, so for people who have to, like, maybe due to circumstances drop out after 2 years, they still get a
Uh-huh.
diploma,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that
Exactly.
that's fucking great, because I think from what I know, the UK universities already do that. So
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
drop out after like 2 years of college, you still get a diploma. You don't
Yeah.
you like you don't you, It's not wasted money, right? You
Yep.
don't come out empty handed. So
Yep.
I think that's a great move. And also shifting all these credits online, so you can. Also, the thing about shifting credits online is that it's a seamless transfer if you like maybe transfer out to an international college, right?
Yeah.
So if it's all online, then you can easily, like, maybe they'll have a system where you can convert them into scores which translate well into other colleges, right? So that gives a lot of opportunity for a lot of people. So I
Mm-hmm.
think I think that's one great move, actually. That I mean, when I saw that too, I was very I was like, yeah, this would have helped me if I was if it was put into
Exactly.
effect before.
Exactly my thought.
Yeah,
Exactly my thought. It's
yeah.
like while getting in the college, like I always felt like there was something. There should be
Hmm.
something different from your schooling system. And
Right.
while I was doing my college, I felt like it was too similar to my schooling system. It was not
Hmm.
even different
Definitely.
at all.
Yeah.
There should be some
I
kind of.
expected a Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, no, go ahead. Yeah, I just finished.
I expected like a different system to school, right? Like, because watching movies, let's just put like watching movies, American movies at least, or British movies. You go like, hey, so maybe college is gonna be a different experience, because I mean,
I know.
school's one thing, college is
Uh-huh.
gonna be different, right? But
Yeah.
then I went from like school to another school. I was like,
Another
what?
school. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, I think we can end this topic for now. I think over here
Yeah.
saying that if you're in school, uh, in the next 5 years you will be fucked. If you're in college, good job.
I mean,
So
if you
all
finish your
the
school in the next 5 years, you're fine.
yeah,
But if not,
after
then you're
you're fucked. You're fucked because the government is too vague on what is going to happen. You're going to be fucked.
right. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
who isn't, right? Like, when there are new changes coming, everyone's gonna have to take a hit, and it's for the better, but it is the way it is. I mean, I would say,
so
because
right
yeah,
now, if you're 15, 16 years old, right now listening to this, if you ever get a chance to listen to this, first of all, what are you doing? This is 18 plus content. You should not be here. Uh,
second of
second,
all,
second of all, you have a bright
uh-huh.
future. You have a very, very bright future.
Okay, fine. Then the third of all, I don't think any 15 or 16-year-old is listening to this. Probably just having sex somewhere or some shit, man. Like,
Ooh,
they're not like us.
ooh, ooh, ooh. That's a low blow, bruh.
On us, it's a low blow on us.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
There are better things to do than listen to this
Yeah.
shit.
Anyways, I think we can happily close that uh, topic, I
On
guess.
that very cheerful note, I guess.
Yeah. Um,
Yep.
I think we have gone overboard. Try to limit it to like, I don't know, uh, 1 hour while starting off this podcast, and the last two podcasts has been like, I'm pretty sure this will
Yep.
go up to like 120, 130. I'm pretty sure.
Right now, the timer shows me 1:30.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, it's up there. It's up there, and we haven't even covered most of the topic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, this week's movie, the movie time. It was your pick this time. Go ahead.
Yes. So the movie this time I picked was The Invention of Lying.
Hmm.
Have I got the name correct? Shit.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got it correct. And what do you
Ricky
think?
Gervais.
I want to know. Yeah, so it's a movie by Ricky Gervais. He's acting
Uh-huh.
in it. He also, I think, produced and wrote it. Very interesting concept. Like,
Uh-huh.
I went into the movie with the idea that it was a romantic comedy, right?
Hmm.
Uh, but then I thought so I didn't read more about it. I just saw romantic comedy. I'm like, cool. I saw Ricky Gervais. I was like, cool, because
That's
I
your
like
shit.
the guy.
That's your go-to
No,
movies. Your rom
it's not
coms.
like go to movies. No, no. So the
You
thing
like
was,
a little bit romantic romantic nature in your
I,
life.
I'll admit it's my guilty pleasure. All
Oh,
right, it is a guilty
oh,
pleasure. All right, I'll admit it. But what caught my attention wasn't the rom-com aspect of it. It was Ricky Gervais because I saw Afterlife recently,
Uh-huh.
and amazing show by the way, 2 seasons. You should really watch it. So I was expecting something on a similar note, right?
Hmm.
I think Ricky Gervais is a funny comedian. I do personally like him. So that's why that's what gravitated me towards the movie in the first place. Then I thought it was a rom com. I'm like, okay, fine, it's gonna be romantic, funny. Let's see what his take on love is. You know,
All
so let's
right.
watch with that intention.
Uh-huh.
And I started the movie. I saw the concept,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, this is a very interesting concept, right? I haven't thought about this ever,
Uh-huh.
and I was blown away by it. I think the execution was fine. I
Mhm.
don't think the movie was like something really great, but it was funny. It has its moments. It has its other like it has this very funny take on religion,
Uh-huh.
right?
Hmm.
It has a very funny take on religion, which, to be honest, I agree with because even before watching this movie, that's what I thought is how religion came into being. All right,
Okay.
that was my idea in my head, but to see it come alive through this medium like this, right? I don't know if I should say what the whole plot of the movie is because I don't know if it spoils it.
It's a 2009 movie, man. I'm pretty sure
Fine. So
if
the
people have
whole
watched it.
underlying plot is people don't know how to lie because they never were taught to lie. It doesn't exist, so they don't even have the word lying, right?
Mhm.
They don't know what lying is. They don't know what a lie is. They say the truth all the time, and they say the things as they are. So they're very blunt people. Okay, so it's a world without lying, and Ricky Gervais is the first guy to lie, and the first guy to lie goes and creates religion, which is you see the timeline. He starts lying and then he creates a religion. So it kind of resonates with me personally because I'm not a huge fan of religion. um, I thought the movie was funny. All right, the acting was, I mean, Ricky Gervais movie. It's not some big Oscar-worthy acting. It was okay, fine.
Mhm.
Um, but the whole concept of the movie, it was very enjoyable. I think there were a lot of funny parts in the movie. A lot of, let's not say thought-provoking, but then it really does make you a bit. It makes you think a little bit, a very tiny bit, right?
Mhm.
I would give it like a solid 6 out of 10. I think.
Oh, all right.
I think that's a very honest 6 out of 10. I would say. What
Got
about
it.
you? What do you think of the movie?
Oof. Oof. You really want to know?
Yes.
Okay. Um, since being a religious person over here,
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty much gonna hate this movie, yeah. Uh, uh,
Mhm.
and yeah, I pretty much hate this movie.
As expected.
Nah,
There
nah,
you
nah.
go.
So it is not because I hate the movie outright. Let me just
Hmm.
be uh very, what do you call, objective over here when I'm
Okay.
saying this.
Hmm.
Invention of Lie. I started off with the movie, like,
Hmm.
very interesting concept. Started off great, like, no one lies, and then, like,
Hmm.
there was a subtle here and there inconsistencies that which I saw. I'm just gonna be beat by beat
Right.
kind of thing, where
Uh-huh.
they're dumb at some state of
They're
time,
very dumb. Very gullible. I noticed that too.
in the sense, like, yeah, I understand you don't have to tell the lie, or you can't tell the lie, but why, like, how? Exactly, that is my
It
reaction.
Yes, it doesn't make sense, right? Like there's so many plot holes, right?
Yeah,
Because you can't really like it's a very complicated topic, right? And it's
yeah.
something you can't
No,
imagine.
no, it's not about the uh, topic as such. The topic is very interesting. When I started off the movie, I
Hmm.
felt like, whoa, this is gonna be something different. As in Ricky Gervais, I used to like him a lot. Like, I used to
Hmm.
enjoy his comedy and everything like that.
Hmm.
Up till one point of time where he's like, after some time, is just like every joke he makes is about, uh, the religion, as in how there is no God,
Hmm.
how there is no afterlife or whatever. Okay,
Hmm.
sure. Like, at one point of time, like, I just, each and every one of his stand-up comedy ended up being that. Uh,
Hmm.
I don't know if you felt the same way. Even I felt the same way about Kevin Hart, as in, like, how even you have spotted this about Kevin Hart, as in, like, how he uses a lot of short jokes, as in how he's short,
Right.
how he's this and that. Like both
Hmm.
of us didn't like the fact that he's overusing that. As in,
Right.
we
Yeah.
enjoy his other comedy, but when he start,
Hmm.
we certainly enjoy, like, in Jumanji also, like, we enjoy his, like, jokes about the short jokes and whatever. But
Hmm.
in the movie, it was not overused. In his
Right.
stand-up comedy, it becomes overused. In, like, every 5 minutes,
Right.
he brings back, "Oh, I'm short. I'm little. I can't do this shit."
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
basically, what I felt Ricky Gervais has been right now is basically that version, where he, like,
Hmm.
every 2 3 minutes he brings back to the fact that, like, oh, there is no afterlife. Oh, there is no religion. Oh, this guy's pretty dumb. This religion is pretty dumb. This is that, and that is this, or whatever.
Hmm. Hmm.
That is the thing. Coming into this, I didn't even know it was a rom com. By the way, I just
Okay.
went in blindly. Like, I just saw your suggestion as, like, all right, let's go into this movie, and that's how I went in.
Hmm.
It started off great, and
Hmm.
it just progressively got worse and worse for me, in the sense, like, after the 20-minute hit, after
Hmm.
I'd say, uh, his acting in that one scene where he talks to his mother was spectacular, by the way. Like, how he talks
Yes.
about afterlife, that
Yep.
was out of the park. Like, I loved his
Hmm.
acting during that time. um
Right.
what I didn't like, again, like, I'm keep on saying, like, what I didn't like. I
Hmm.
already mentioned one point. The other characters, except for Ricky Gervais's character, everyone else is dumb in this world.
That's true. They
Blunt,
are all
I,
very
I,
fucking dumb.
yeah, I got the blunt part. Like, I understand the
Hmm.
blunt part. I understand they can't lie, the lie part. Those two I understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they do have to be dumb in a movie
That
like
is
this.
true. I thought about that too. Like, why are they also gullible? Like, they don't have to be stupid. They don't have
Yeah,
to be fucking stupid, right? And I mean, that and even the romantic aspect is there. Like, it's kind of stupid. The whole
yeah.
romantic part of the movie is
When
very
I'm
stupid.
saying the dumb part, I'm
Yeah.
relating the dumb. I'm extending the dumb into the romanticizing of this story as well,
Right.
like the romantic part of
Yeah.
the story as well. I'm including that
Mhm.
dumb part as a collective unit to save time. Let's say,
Yeah. I agree with you there. Yeah. It's
yeah,
pretty dumb.
yeah. The people are dumb.
Hmm.
Then again, coming back to the beating the dead horse. Uh,
Hmm.
okay, sure, you're an atheist. We get it.
Hmm.
Move on. There are many other things in life that you can't lie about and make a good movie about. You can just say, like, how you could even relate it to our real life. How our world is like very deceitful world, as in, the world we are living right now is filled with all kinds of lies by the government,
Hmm.
by different kinds of people, and everything like that. And how it would be different in a uh, in a world where there is no lies. You feel what I'm saying? Like, let's
Right.
say, uh, about 2 months back, Pentagon came out saying, like, that, oh, there is spotted a UFOs.
Right.
uh,
But before you go ahead with that,
yeah.
this movie did come out 11 years ago. A very different climate back then,
No,
politically.
but yeah, but still, like, you could have explored in that way. Is 11 years? 2009 is
Also,
not that back, man.
it is that back. We were in school, and
Yeah,
also
I know,
if
we were in school, but just get it. Like, Iron Man came out before that.
right, even Hulk came out before that. Come on, I
Huh?
know that. I know the
Yeah,
timelines. Even
yeah.
yeah, no,
Batman
but
came
here's the
before
thing.
that.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Like at that point, at least for me, from what I remember, it
Hmm.
was cool to be an atheist, because that was the big thing at that point. So
Yeah,
it
yeah,
makes
that's the thing.
sense
Like,
why this would
no, no,
come out.
yeah, I got that part. This movie,
Yeah,
I would just summarize this movie into, like, dumb, the dumb atheist fan fest.
Basically, a big atheist propaganda.
No, 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 not atheist propaganda.
It's not a
I would,
propaganda,
no,
but
no,
yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a propaganda. It's a
Hmm.
fun little movie. I would agree to that. Like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like, go out, make jokes on religion. Like, it's your life.
Hmm.
Like, you can do whatever the shit you need. But
Yeah.
this felt like the basic level atheist. Like how the even you, I'd say,
Yeah.
who doesn't have any other, a substance to being an atheist except for this thing.
I mean,
Like,
I can make the same point, right? Like, you don't need much to be an atheist.
huh?
Like, you don't need much to be an atheist. You just need to have like the basic, common question, like prove it, and then when you
No,
can't
no.
prove it,
See, that's the thing. Like,
done.
he himself is, kind of contradicting the points over here. As in, if you're
Mm,
talking about atheism and let's say uh, a faith plays a part in whatever, like people
mhm,
believing in the unbelievable stuff, he
mhm.
believed in love in this movie,
It's an
which is,
emotion.
huh?
It's an emotion,
No, he believed in something which he didn't even know it existed. I know it's an emotion, but
right?
he didn't know that the girl loved him back. From his point of view, the girl was like, I don't even know who that is. Who is she again? What is it?
I have, I have no idea who that actress is.
Jennifer
Wait,
Garner? Is it Jennifer Garner? No,
yes,
it's
I
not.
think it was. I think it was. I think it was Jennifer Garner. Invention of lying.
If I get it right, I'm the greatest person ever.
Really, you're going on this? It's
Yeah.
Jennifer Garner. Yeah.
Oh yes, I'm the greatest person ever. So yeah, what was I saying? So yeah, he didn't even know his character, Ricky Gervais's character, didn't even know. He just basically had a faith that, like, oh yeah, if I do this, she would love me
But
back.
his character didn't know.
No, he didn't know.
I can make a point. I can make a very good point for it. She says, like, I'm happy with you. I'm this thing with you, all this with you. But the only reason I can't be with you is
I'm
because I don't want a
talking
kid.
about earlier in the movie, not in the end of the movie. End of the movie, like,
But
yeah, it is pretty straightforward that, like, you want to do this and you want to do.
earlier, I don't. Earlier in the movie, he wasn't for going after love. He was just going out, shooting his shot continuously for his crush. I don't think he
Nah,
was going after love in the starting of the
no, no, no.
movie.
He
I
he
never felt
no.
that way.
He was in love, like, while sitting in that park bench.
Hmm.
Uh, the first time sitting in the park bench, right? Like before that,
Right.
just before that, like, he became famous and all that, like, stuff, and like, uh, it was just after the first park bench scenes.
Yeah. Over there again. The case. You can make a very good case because she said, I, I want a guy who is rich and famous and all of these things. So he ticked those boxes at that point. Except for the fact that he wasn't a good-looking person, he had
Yeah,
every other box ticked.
again, but
So that's
that's the thing.
why he went in.
No, 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 that's the thing. Like, even then, he continued with that kind of mentality, as in, like, yeah, I can get this girl. Like, I know that
Because he
she
was
likes
in
me,
love,
huh?
not because he was in love with her, and not only
Ex-
like,
no, no, that is what I'm saying.
yeah,
Like, that is having faith in someone else, man.
it's not having faith in someone else.
Yeah, it's
How is
like,
it having faith
having
in
faith.
someone
Like,
else?
yeah, I know, I can get this girl. Like, I'm continuing my pursuit.
Yeah, because you are madly in love with her, and you're not respecting that other person's boundaries.
Whoa, 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 whoa! What? What? No way!
That
Fuck
is what
you,
it is,
man.
isn't it? Like, this guy
No,
is so madly in love with her. He's like, no, I
see,
love her, I want
he
her, and all that
I
stuff, and
find
he's just
his
going
character
after
as
her.
I find his character in this as a sane person, as in, like, a level-headed person. I don't think him to be a psychopath. If it was a psychopath,
I
like,
don't think it was.
or a stalker kind of a thing, like, you clearly have that definition. In the case of, like,
No.
there are several other movies or whatever, when the girl
Hmm.
said, like, yeah, I like you, but I can't do this, then the
Hmm.
guy dropped the interest, or, like, try to disconnect from that. There are a lot of
Right.
other shows except for this.
Hmm.
Like, I didn't find this to be, like, him disconnecting, and he was a sane person in this movie, like, in this universe, at least only the sane person in this universe.
No, I don't think he was insane either. I think he was perfectly normal. It's a perfectly normal reaction to have. I don't think that he did anything out of the ordinary by chasing after her.
No, that's the thing. Like in this universe, it is a out of ordinary thing, man. Like in a normal
In this
thing, yeah,
universe, I guess, yeah. But then again, in this
yeah.
universe, he's the only one who can
I am.
lie, which is pretty
No,
normal,
no.
right?
The thing is, like, I am coming from this thing alone, like how he is
Right.
trying to portray this movie. So he
Okay.
himself is contradicting in this movie. Like I'm not talking about anything else. I'm just saying in this movie he's
Mhm.
contradicting himself when regarding with the whole aspect regarding faith. And it's not like in real life also you don't have faith in stuff. Like you have faith in certain stuff. Not I'm not talking about God and stuff like that. Random stuff. You will have faith in a person or you have faith in something to be done. Like
Right.
just because of the repo that you have with that person or something like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's not like you go about for a fact that that person is going to do that for you or like be by your side or something like that. Let's say funny thing, like if Takeshi 69's colleagues before going to the jail, they had the faith that he wouldn't snitch, but he snitched anyways. you get you get my point, right?
I get your point. Yeah.
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 So um yeah, like that that was one of the plot holes that I found. And
Hmm.
yeah, again, like, I already told this. It's like beating the dead horse, man. Like after that first beat, after that first
Hmm.
thing of helping the different people in this world, his friends and everything like that. Yeah, that was
Hmm.
good. And his mother dies, and like how he uh, discusses about afterlife and stuff like that. That was good.
Hmm.
That was like about one third of the movie while that happened, and
Right.
rest of the entire chunk was basically what you
It
got it.
never went
Yeah, it
ahead.
never, yeah, it never went anywhere else. It's just like
Yeah.
i felt I felt like you could have done much better job if you integrated some other kind of concept to this, or like
Yeah.
if you
That's what.
explode some kind of things.
That's true. Like the whole religion thing was a good start, I would say,
Yeah, yeah.
but then move forward,
Leave it.
right? Like,
I would say like leave it in that pizza boxes,
right.
and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. End it over there, and then you
Yeah,
go ahead with like some other things, like do
some
something
other
more
thing. Yeah,
interesting, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
And the
definitely. I think,
like
yeah.
the pizza boxes thing was itself is like dragged out to some extent, man.
It was funny in the room when he showed it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I get the reference. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's funny."
the Ten
And
Commandments
then,
basically. Oh yeah, it was funny.
yeah,
He got out, started reading. Okay, it's still funny.
right,
It went down 5 minutes. It still went down again. 10 minutes,
yeah.
still went down again.
It went a
It's
bit
like,
too long, I would say.
where the fuck is this going again?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
get it. People will ask a lot of dumb questions. Fine, let's just end
sure.
it before that,
Yeah.
please.
So yeah, so that is where
Hmm.
I came from.
So how much would you rate it
So
since you hate it so much?
I don't like, you clearly understand where I'm coming from, right?
No, no, I'm not disagreeing with your viewpoint. I'm not disagreeing with it at all. I think
Yeah,
it's fine. It's pretty fair. I have no issues.
I would give it as a three, dude. It's like I don't find it
All right,
much better than this.
all right. I can see why. I mean, I have no issues. I thought it was enjoyable for me at least. I was like, okay, fine, it's enjoyable. I'll give it like a 6, which I think aligns with the Metacritic rating or even the Rotten Tomatoes rating of 658, 55, 56%. I mean, I just checked it. Like this is the first time I'm checking it. I'm like, okay, fine. So my rating was somewhat
But
in
the
tune with the general public, I guess.
no, no, no. You're in tune with the uh, critiques,
Oh,
as
is
in
it?
mine is more in tune with the audience score, and yours is more in tune with the critic score. So
All right, you're correct. Yeah.
56% for the critic score. Um,
And 39 for the
39 for the,
audience.
yeah. Anyways, that's the I enjoy the conversations between Jonah Hill and Ricky Gervais. That was a
Yep.
you could have explored on that. That could have been
I
a
know.
fun little.
I was looking forward to it. I was like, "Oh, maybe she talks about all of these things.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
like
this can come."
the one who was not
Yeah,
lying, talking about suicide, and like how he can save different people from that. It's like
yeah, that would have been a very interesting thing to explore. But
yeah,
yeah, sadly, it doesn't. Hmm.
uh, yeah. I think that's this long. Oh, dude, this is
Yeah, it's
2 hour
nearly.
podcast.
It's very long. Yeah.
From 1 hour to 2 hours. Okay, next time you're picking the topic, try to pick it something which is less time consuming, I guess. And
Somehow we were supposed to be the quietest kids in the class. People who don't talk much.
oh yeah, oh my God. Uh, if our
Yeah.
friends would see this episodes, they would
Yep.
they would have some
They'd
kind
be
of
like,
comments.
they would have comments. Yeah, that's for
Yeah,
sure. They would have cut
we,
that.
yeah, we can cut that out. So
Yeah.
so yeah, from going from silent people to this is pretty intriguing, I would
Mhm.
say.
It is. Also, I don't think it matters. My name is there.
Is it? Yeah, we'll cut it
No.
anyways. It's okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you
Bleep your
can
name.
find it.
Yeah, we can bleep your name.
I
Yeah,
don't think it matters though because we're gonna have whatever. It's fine. I think it's time we cut this episode before
out.
it goes longer.
Yeah, cool, cool. All right.
Yep.
See you guys for another episode. I think next week's movie is going to be pretty interesting. I would say
You
something
have
which
something
is
in mind
coming up.
already.
Yeah, I have a.
Mm.
Okay, I can just say. So next week's
Yeah.
movie is going to be Mulan, the live action
Milan,
movie,
which one?
the live action one.
Oh. All right.
I this is going to be very interesting. This movie. Let's see how it
I'll,
turns out. All right. So that is
mm,
about it, guys. It was fun filming another or recording another episode of this episode. Fun talking about it. Um,
yep.
leave a like, subscribe, all that jazz. Follow on all the social media stuff. Your
It's
Facebook,
Kitchen Street
WhatsApp.
everywhere.
Yeah, not WhatsApp. Okay, Facebook, YouTube, your Twitter.
There's no
Um,
Facebook. It's Instagram,
oh
YouTube,
yeah,
Twitter,
fuck, I'm a boomer.
Anchor, and Spotify. We
Yeah.
end about Facebook Live.
And
Like
every other podcasting platform you ever know, um, we are everywhere. Go tune us in,
right.
have fun, and goodbye.
See you next time, guys. Bye bye.